Hey there, folks and friends. Connecting Dots here. It's Tuesday, August 12th, 2014, 10:20 p.m. here on the West Coast, and I'm just about to head off to bed. Yes, I was supposed to head off to the beach today and get some great footage for you folks, but I just want to let you know the weather wasn't great here on the West Coast, more specifically the morning. So I decided to forego that. I'm going out tomorrow instead. Don't worry, I'm going to get some great footage. I'm actually going to take out my big Geiger counter and get some radiation tests for you folks here on different marine life, hopefully. Anyways, what I want to do though is go over the latest video here that's been put out by Beautiful Girl by Dana. Now, if you haven't followed this whole story, boy oh boy, this guy's shaking in his boots. You can tell here he is in defensive mode. There's no doubt about it. They watched the video here. They know how you guys feel. I'm calling them out on their BS here. Even Rad Chick, man oh man, she joins Godlike Productions and goes and promote more BS. This is all part of that same network of shills, the Monograph, Dutch Sense, Maca Electric, Kevin D. Blanche. They're all together the same crap, folks, and I love punching a hole in them. And the latest hole here, boy oh boy, you're not going to believe this scam, folks. Unbelievable. Okay, so let's jump into some of the images here that he promotes, or some of the stories or the theories that he's promoting. So he's saying here that in 9 days, because he's already done this trip, he's come back, he's looking for more donations for another 60-day trip. But let's get into what he's already covered here in 9 days. And he specifically says we covered, him and his buddy, in 9 days, but only 3 hours on a rented boat. Okay, so regardless, he's saying he was out there for 9 days, covered 200 kilometers of this coastline here, BC coastline, and well, he mostly took the ferry, and if you see the pictures that he's posted, they're mostly taken in provincial parks, so he didn't really cover the entire 200 kilometers, but that's what he's claiming. He's claiming 9 days, 3 hours in a rented boat, and his claims are there are no birds. I got footage here coming up. There are birds, of course. I mean, but he's claiming there's no birds, no crows. He didn't see any birds, no crows, only 4 species of vegetation, marine vegetation. I can't believe this. When I heard this stuff, I'm like, wow, how can he get off saying this stuff? Okay, but he's saying that the entire microscopic world. By the way, he's only went down there with a bad camera. He said his camera was acting up, and yeah, even the pictures that he has, they're not microscopic pictures, but he says the entire microscopic world has vanished from the West Coast, or specifically the entire 200 kilometers that he covered in 9 days. It's vanished. There's nothing there. He even goes on to say here in this latest video, and I'll leave a link down below if you want to go listen to this garbage, that he could fit all of the flies in an entire glass. Yeah, all the flies that he came across here in that 200 kilometers, all of the flies there could fit in one glass. He says all the insects. Oh yeah, hold on a second. The picture of the insects. I got all his pictures. So the picture here of the insect. Well, what's the first thing that comes out to you? Well, it's not the type of insect that you find on the beach. It's I don't know why he puts this up, but this type of beetle is not found on the West Coast beach. I mean, I don't know what to say. This guy's full of malarkey. So he goes on to say that there's no insects. They're all gone within 200 kilometers. Yeah, there's only algae. Yeah, 2 types of it. I can't believe it. Out of 600 different types of algae, there's only 2 there. That's what he says. No baby life left. Yeah. 1 type of snail. He ran into 1 type of snail. And this is sad, you know, because this is the pictures that he puts up, and he tells folks that he's went everywhere, and you look up close, look, there's no life. It's all dead, folks. I can't believe that this guy would actually put up these kinds of pictures and so far away and say there's no life. I mean, I look at the picture, immediately I see life, and I guarantee you that if we zoomed in a lot closer here, and this is what I'm going to do when I go out with my camera tomorrow or day after. I plan on doing it tomorrow, so let's hope the weather's good. I need some sun. I want some good footage to you guys see when I lift up these rocks, all the crabs that live underneath here. You're going to be shocked. You're going to say, oh my God, this sky is so full of bees. BS. I mean, I already know he is because I live on the West Coast, so everything I hear him say in his videos, I know he's full of lies. And when he points out there should be life like this, every time he says that, he gives you a picture of life, marine life underwater. But he goes back after a while, after he shows you these pictures, he goes back and says all of the West Coast should have this type of sea life everywhere along the coastline. This is the way it should be, folks. He couldn't be any further from the truth. He's an absolute liar. This is not the way it is on the West Coast. Never has been, never will be, okay? I'm not saying you won't find pockets of this, certain areas where there's no sun and the water goes down, low tide. Certain areas, you may find that. Most of the West Coast is barren. It always has been. Okay, so this 200 kilometers that he's talking about, it just happens to be called Desolation Sound. Desolation Sound. I mean, it's just, you couldn't find a better name for it to be desolate with no life. But regardless, we got life here. And he goes on to say, that there's no life, but there's patches of this sea lettuce and whatnot all over, everywhere. He says patches everywhere. Well, that's the way it is. It grows in patches. I mean, did you really think it was going to be covered the entire beach here? Not to say that it doesn't. It does grow like that in certain areas. By the way, you notice that flailing? This guy does this a lot, eh? I noticed that. A lot of flailing in his videos. Anyways, yeah, so you're not going to find those beetles, and he wants basically funds for a 60-day tour. That's right, for 60 days. He's going to go back to the same areas, but he wants the money because he wants to buy a $6,700 14-foot Zodiac boat. Plus the motor, that's another $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Plus a trailer, that's another $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Plus the fuel to do this entire trip, there goes another, I don't know, $600, $700. Plus all the transportation. That means, I guess he's talking about the ferry or whatnot, or is he talking about the boat to pull the trailer and all this gear? I'm not quite sure, but regardless, he's not saying how much. He's just saying he's going out there. And he also mentions at one point that he won't be able to go up to certain arrows, and he's going to be asking fishermen to tow him. And I'm like, hold on a second. You just said it's all barren and there's no life there and it's all dead, but you're going to go get a fisherman to pull you? Would it not just be easier to go to these towns and go to the docks and say, hey, fisherman, have you noticed like there's no fish and it's all dead and there's nothing left? No, he just wants to go on a scuba diving tour for 60 days and he wants people to pay for it. Unbelievable. Okay, so let's pause here and take a look at some real pictures of the BC coastline. Okay, first one up, Jeff, KJ and Jeff in Desolation Sound, July 2013. Take a look at that rock in the background, because you're going to see lots of rock. That's the way it is on our shorelines. Okay, folks? Yes, patches of green. That's the way it grows. Again, you can see some of it in the background, but there's a lot of this on the West Coast. Lots of it. Okay? So, again, you can see some life here. Oh, hold on a second. We need to pause this because you need to hear this part here. This is the really good part. This looks like rain, right? It's not. Listen closely.
Roscoe Bay in the Desolation Sound area. Exactly, Roscoe Bay Provincial Park. And we're in this nice little channel, and it appears to be raining, but it's actually not raining. Just scan down. And look underwater. And if you're very lucky, you might see millions, literally millions of fish.
Millions of fish. So that was in 2013. They haven't all died, or else we would be hearing about it. These fishermen that he wants to tow his boat, they would be talking about it. So here again, this is July 2014, and Dana claims that he was out there for 9 days, didn't see any birds, none. Well, these people are pulling into one little sound here, and sure enough, what do you see flying here, coming in from your right? You got it.
And the lake's right up above it, says?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the lake just above, so I imagine there's lots of birds up there. Yeah. Okay, so different places along the coastline. Okay, so as you can see, lots of barren rock, and it's not to say that there's no green patches, because there are areas where there's lots of green lettuce, sea lettuce. It just depends where you are. Different locations. If you go up to Tofino, you'll see a lot of sand, a lot of barren rock, almost no vegetation. Then you go to other little places and there'll be lots of clams attached to those rocks. It depends. It's not the same everywhere. This is the Juan de Fuca Trail. There's some green vegetation and lots of barren rock. This is the way it is along the west coast, folks. I don't know what to say. Someone's fear mongering and they're looking for thousands of dollars in donations. So it's like this at certain places, but not like that everywhere. Okay? It's patchy, and some places there's lots of it, which is I know one area in town here. There's lots of this, and it stinks galore in the middle of summer. But I'm gonna go videotape it so you guys can see that certain areas it's Rockies, and certain places you got to be careful here on the West Coast because yeah, something will jump out of the water and grab you. No, I'm just kidding. But if you're a seal or a sea lion, yeah, you got to watch yourself. Okay, so I'm going to be taking my Geiger counter. I got a Ludlam 3A here with the DT27 Radiac detector from the U.S. military, and I'm asking for donations. If you want to help me out, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. I'm going to do it anyways. I've been asking for donations for a while, not for the Geiger counters, or not for that Geiger counter, and not to go on this tour. I was actually looking for money because I'd mentioned here in my Fukushima Day 1205 how I'd like to buy another type of Geiger counter because I want to be able to test the fish and the marine life, the water, everything. I mean, the Geiger counter I have is limited, and I want to buy something more specific where I can actually identify certain isotopes I'd mentioned in these past videos. I'm concerned about the strontium 90. That's the biggest one here according to this German study. It was a mock study of the Fukushima meltdown, and they were concerned about the 50,000 day fallout, or I should say spewing of strontium 90. I showed in my past videos here how they have picked up raising levels of strontium 90. Regardless, not just that isotope, but that's one of the ones I want to be able to identify. So if you can help out, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. I live on the West Coast here. I'm going to do it anyways because I'm not a scammer. What can I say, folks? I've been doing this for a long time, and when I see people coming up here and giving you false information, time to lay down the rule and show them who's the king of truth, and it ain't these guys. Absolutely not. Take care, folks. Hope you enjoy.